locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves wrestling.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Get these hands.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's Braun Strowman, bro. That's his new catchphrase.
You know what I realized in our intro?
What?
Is our cream of the crop, which is we were just talking about. I didn't even realize that was in our intro.
Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Cutting a promo because he was running late probably and said, I need to do something. All I could find is a non-dairy creamer because that's all that Vince would give them probably. He won't spend money on real dairy creamers.
Oh, my goodness.
He finds a non-dairy creamer and he cuts one of the most famous promos in history.
Why can't you be professional like him? Huh?
You know what? Because at least he had a creamer to work with. I got nothing. I've got nothing. Intellectually bankrupt. And furthermore, before you get into all this other wrestling stuff...
Whoa. Listen, we're not going to get into any of your nonsense, especially today, because we got something special that I'm not even going to wait for. Let's jump right into it right now. All right, so Boston Bad Boy, you remember when we had the members of the Valhalla Club.
Yeah, we had the whole gang on the line.
Yeah, seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking about the military veterans that use pro wrestling as a way to combat PTSD.
And they were putting together a documentary about the behind the scenes.
Yes. And we got them pretty early there. They were still putting the finishing touches on the documentary. Well, it's finally out. So why not bring one of the guys from the Valhalla Club on here to let us know where we can watch that fantastic documentary? Without further ado, Jan Ohrstrum, welcome back to Duke Loves Wrestling podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really cool to be back here, man. I really enjoy your show a lot.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
We got a listener. Isn't that nice?
See?
Unless Jan's just being nice.
And he puts up with you for some reason. I don't know why there. So, Jan, tell us, what's it been like since the last time you were on with this documentary here?
It's man, to be honest, it's been a roller coaster, man. We had technical issues that we had worked through that took longer than expected. It was a lot of hustle and hard work trying to send emails out, trying to get this thing covered. We had our premiere right here in Waco in January at a theater, and we pretty much sold out. And that was really cool. That was really humbling. And now the video, it's available on Vimeo on demand, and we're finalizing everything to get it carried onto Netflix and Amazon. It's just it just hasn't been actually finalized yet, but we're really close. So close enough where I can say that we're right there.
So tell the fans, especially just as a refresher, what should they expect when they check out the Valhalla Club documentary?
The fans should expect I really am proud of how we told a really good story. We didn't sugarcoat anything. We talked candidly about what we saw in war and how it affected us, and at the same time we discussed this aspect of pro wrestling that people may not have thought about, but the demands of pro wrestling can be really positive, and it shows how it helped us in a very, very good way. Not fall into this a downward spiral after military deployment. If you may recall, when we first talked, I think it was in May, because I was in Baltimore at the time. There's an unfortunate epidemic. There's an average of 20 veterans a day that are taking their own lives, and this movie is going out there to combat that and to reach out and let people know, if you have PTSD or depression or whatnot, finding a positive creative outlet to work through those demons is so vital. It's so vital.
Wow, that's deep. And you actually, it's funny too, because the movement has really taken off beyond even any of your expectations. Just talking to you guys offline there was an article that was just recently written. Tell the fans about that there.
Yeah, we had a couple. The big NBC affiliate out here covered us and did a really nice story, and then Telemundo did a thing on us, which is really cool. But then yesterday Vice News did a big piece on us, discussing the PTSD stuff, the war stuff, and pro wrestling, and it's crazy. It's really gaining steam. It's it's awesome to be a part of something that's really speaking to a bigger audience. I know since the Vice story has came out, I've had at least 24 people approach me, veterans of all different backgrounds, from like Vietnam, Gulf War, Grenada, what have you, and they're saying how much it connected with them and how they had those same difficulties after seeing what they had to see, and you know, it really means a lot. It really truly does, to see people like smile coming out of this thing, because it's not an easy topic to deal with. I think I mentioned before, you know, when I was in Iraq in 2004, that was one of the bloodiest years there, and I saw a lot of horrible things that I hope nobody ever has to see. And I'm glad that this story takes such a pathway where we can be positive and help people who have been through so much.
Yeah, that's serious stuff. And I'll tell you, man, from everything from the hotlines for folks who are dealing with different issues and what have you, and seeking help, and even the U.S. Army have retweeted posts that we've done about Valhalla Club and your documentary. And that's just really a powerful thing to see. Even the Army retweeted some of those posts there. So you guys have a lot of support, and you're doing great things there, and are very much appreciated. Tell us once again, if folks want to reach out and check out the documentary, where's the best place they can find it right now?
You can find it right now if you go to Vimeo, which is Vimeo, and they have a on-demand section. And if you just type in the Valhalla Club documentary, it's right there, and it's available. You can rent it for 48 hours for $1.99, or you can purchase it outright for $7.99. It's you know, the documentary. We did not want to have a long, drawn-out documentary. It's 45 minutes. It's a really good watch the whole time. It's definitely worth the money, and it's worth hearing this story.
Cool. And what about you personally? If anyone wants to reach out to you, especially the bookers, if the bookers want to reach out and book Jan and even the entire Valhalla Club there, Eddie and Bryson, what's the best way they can reach out to you there?
The best way to reach out to all three of us is definitely you can go to our Facebook page, which is the Valhalla Club documentary. Because everything that's going on right now, I'm on that page a lot, and that's the easiest way to reach us. And if you have Instagram, Eddie's is Eddie Wittern Official. Bryson's is Mr._Studtacular. And I don't have one yet, and I'm working on it.
See, we got to get you on that Instagram.
A little bit of homework there.
Yeah. I was working on that in May, too. It's just been really...
That's right. I remember you saying that there.
Yeah, and before we let you go, I just have one question. It's a bit of a shifting gear. So you guys are down in Waco, right?
Yes, sir.
I have to ask you one thing. Have Chip and Joanna Gaines completely taken over your town?
It is.
Is there just shiplap everywhere?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I will give you an off-the-grid tour if you ever get here. You can see, like, it's just crazy what Fixer Upper Vermont has done to the Waco.
Wow. You guys are going to be just surrounded by comfy throw pillows and scented candles before you know it.
Ooh.
Hey, that doesn't sound bad, actually.
Jan Ohrstrum of the Valhalla Club, keep up the great work, brother. We're really proud of all of you guys, and we're rooting for you.
Thanks, man. That really does mean a lot, and I appreciate you were one of the first to give us a chance, and I'll never forget it. And I'll keep being a fan of the show and keep listening, man. Thanks.
That guy's a solid dude.
He really is. He really is. I got a lot of time for Jan and really the entire Valhalla Club crew there, including their production team.
Yeah, I mean, they put a lot of work into it, and they've been working on it a long time. And it's amazing, just when isn't that the way these productions work? Just when you think you're so close, we're going to get it out. Oh, we have to reduce this. We got to redo that.
Takes time.
Takes time, and it takes the commitment to it. And these guys have done it.
Sure.
And they're getting these great write-ups and everything, and it's for a great cause, and it's amazing.
Well, here's what the crazy part is. Some of these guys have been in the WWE on Raw and SmackDown, in these roles backstage, but they're getting noticed. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, they might not even need the WWE. This might end up being bigger than the WWE, and there's no one who would be happier about that than me.
Give me a break. Give me a break. But it is very difficult to get the type of press that they've gotten without being WWE contracted wrestlers, which they're not.
Right. Well, because they're working sort of for a higher cause.
Yes, they are.
And you know what? That's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that should be talked about.
Absolutely.
It's good that they're getting that kind. If they can combine those two things, more power to them.
Sure. And check out the Duke Loves Rasslin Facebook fan page there, folks, because we're going to put all the information up on there, including the link to the documentary. I mean, come on. Less than $8, you get to own this thing.
Yeah.
Get to watch it at your leisure.
And you know what? Like I said, we kept it short, kept it to the point. Got to like that.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of fluff in there.
No,
just right to the point.
Just because you're very fluff.
Well, no, that's my purpose on this show is to cut the fluff out because let me tell you people out there, if I was up to Duke, he would just be pontificating endlessly. So you should thank me. I'll expect the thank you mail next week.
You know what? With that said, run the ropes. It's time to run the ropes. It's when I educate this knucklehead Boston bad boy on the top story in the world of professional wrestling.
Just one?
Because it's the biggest one. So we might as well just focus here, Jack.
First of all, not that I'm one to complain about only have to listen to one wrestling story, but you're losing it.
No.
You're losing a step here.
This is a multifaceted major story because we're talking about.
It better not be a reality show. I'm going to leap over this desk and strangle you.
I could talk about reality shows, but no.
You said one.
It's all about WWE Elimination Chamber. It's live this Sunday on the WWE Network. Okay, it's a big pay-per-view. We're on the road to WrestleMania.
The road to WrestleMania is long and winding.
That's right. That's right. So the Elimination Chamber, say that 3 times fast. What's great about this, we have the men's Elimination Chamber match, right? Miz, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns.
Your favorite.
John Cena.
Your next favorite.
Braun Strowman.
Horrible impression of him.
Elias and Finn Balor. They're all going to be in this cage.
Okay.
And there's like these little plastic tubes.
Like hamster tubes?
And when somebody's going to, after a period of time, the gate comes down on the tube, and you get to run out and wrestle.
So it's like they get charged up, and they're pawing at it like the bulls of Pamplona.
See?
And then they release the gate, and they're off to the races.
Boom. Beat the hell out of each other.
Now, wait, are they releasing everybody at the same time, or is it random?
No, one by one randomly.
Oh, so the first guy just walks out and goes, okay, now I'm waiting.
Yep.
You don't know who you're going to be.
That's it.
So do you want to be the first guy or the last guy?
You definitely want to be the last guy because he's fresh.
He's fresh.
He's fresh.
And he's seeing what everyone else is doing.
That's the thing. And it's a brutal match. Brutal. Because it's a cage. That's it.
The most brutal of them all.
That's right. That's right.
Will you get on with this nonsense, please? Come on.
Break. So who's going to win? I'm going to put my money on Finn Balor.
No, you said Roman. You have Roman Reigns written down. I see that right there.
Stop
Don't
it
lie
right
to
now.
the people.
Stop it. Roman Reigns is a punk.
You love
He's
Roman
a punk.
Reigns.
No, I don't love. You know, I tweeted him again.
See?
He
exactly.
laughs. He laughs at me.
As does everybody else.
No,
finally, you realize that.
Let me just say something real quick.
Dude.
Roman Reigns, you laugh at me, but just understand, pal, you wouldn't do that in my face. Okay?
I like to see what you did in his face.
You like that, don't you? Huh? I had to stretch that one out.
Just please stop.
So once again, Finn Balor is going to win the Elimination Chamber according to the Duke, but the first ever women's Elimination Chamber match, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Sonya, Mandy, Mickie James, and Alexa Bliss. And poor Alexa has to defend her title in this match. She's going to win, though.
Against, 4 other opponents? 4 other opponents?
5, yeah.
So it's 5 total?
6.
6 total, okay. You know what's interesting about that? Nothing.
Stop it.
So can we move on?
Alexa Bliss
You
is
already
awesome.
explained the tubes and the gates and the whole thing.
Mickie James called her biscuit butt. That's what she called her.
What is going on? This is like adolescent BS. You know, we talk to a lot of guys who say that the industry is just on its ear, and it's because of things like this. That's something that makes news.
I like
that's out there.
It's
funny.
Stupid. It's funny. Stop it.
And wait a minute. We're burying something here because I saw you talking about something earlier that the $1 Million Man made some comments recently about how he thinks current WWE is better than the Attitude Era or whatever.
It's because of folks like Biscuit Butt Alexa Bliss.
No. Do you know what this is?
What?
The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He's a money man. And who do we know has a lot of money and that can make a lot of influence? Vince McMahon.
Okay.
So what he did was he got his friend, $1 Million Man, gave him a little cash in a brown paper bag, and said, you know what, I need you as is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I need you as a Hall of Famer, as a household name for years and years, to go out there and tell everybody I'm doing a good job, even though I'm not. And you know what? $1 Million Man, I take the check.
What's wrong with you?
And that's what happened.
What's wrong with
That's the root cause of all that. I'll tell you that right now.
Can you ever, like for once in your life, not say something negative about my friend Vince McMahon?
No, because you know what? Because he's never done anything that isn't negative in his whole life. So that's what happens.
Here's what's going to happen, okay? In our next segment, which we're just going to go right to, we have the UFC Hall of Famer, Dan the Beast Severn, okay? And he worked for Vince McMahon. I dare you to say something negative about Vince McMahon.
All right, we'll find out.
To Dan the Beast.
You think I'm afraid?
Okay.
I think I'm afraid?
You are.
Okay,
I think
we'll
you
see.
are. Okay.
We'll get him on the phone right now.
You know what? We'll be right back, folks.
Hi, this is Earl Oliver from Sully's Vintage Wrestling.
This is Raj Giri with WrestlingInc.com.
This is Sean Reed, boxing writer and undercover low-key wrestling fan. And you're listening to Duke Loves Wrestling. Woo!
All right, so Dan the Beast Severn, you're an MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer. I mean, geez, you know, literally one of the greatest of all time there. When in your career did you realize that you were the absolute best in the world at mixed martial arts?
Well, until I was brought up to it, it's not why I don't know if I'd give that much thought. But, you know, just like anything else I've ever done in my life, my first real sport I ever jumped into was the sport of amateur wrestling. And when I jumped into that, you know, I found out what everyone else was doing. I just wanted to see, can I do a little bit better? And that's kind of like I'll just say that kind of is the spark that still continues even to this day. You know, so many years later, you know, I started my amateur wrestling career in 1969. And I was teaching it by 71, and I won my first national title in 72. And you gentlemen were born when?
Geez, we're really going to date ourselves. You're talking the early to mid '80s here. So you were.
Well, again, that's just my wife's saying. And again, we've never even met, but I simply assume that I've been competing longer than most people. Well, I could say most of my opponents ever were alive. You know.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
It's like when. But the other part is, well, I just walked in from another room to talk to you guys. Are quiet. I've got a class going into it now, and here I am. I'm pulling cartwheels. I'm doing all kinds of stuff because I've got to come in. It's a kids class, so you have to go down to the kids' mentality. But it's the sad part. I am going off with another tangent. I tend to do that.
So
kids nowadays, they don't have any real physical ability as a whole. You give them a laptop, give them a cell phone. They can work wonders with their thumbs, but can they physically do it? No.
So what's it take to get back to that physicality then?
Oh, well, somewhere along the line, people have to have standards, and we have to stop all this coddling and no child left behind programs, and everyone gets an S for satisfactory in the grades. I mean, to me, it's like I don't believe in that stuff. I mean, I always tell people I'm not going to be a rocket scientist, so it's okay that I'm below average in that area, okay? But it's, you know, when people just when you do a report card, they fit this as S for satisfactory. What does that mean? They're just barely getting by. They're sitting in the desk, and they're breathing, and so you're going to just pass them along. That's where I like having my own training facility, and I do get lots of people because I actually have standards, and I won't compromise my standards. And I always say that, think of my doors as it's like the Statue of Liberty that welcomes you. But also, if you cannot conform to my rules and regulations, it also allows you to leave.
And you know something? I know that's something that you introduced in the ring, even when you were competing. Who were some of your toughest opponents, though, Beast? You know, when we think back to in your career, who were the guys that really you felt gave you the best go at it in the ring?
It would be another grappler, only because that was the strong suit that I was going to be bringing to the table with my grappling ability. So going up against another grappler, you know, for example, I always credit Mark Coleman, for example, for probably hitting me the very hardest ever. I got hit, and I got run so well that I saw like three of them, and in my mind, I'm like, go for the guy in the middle because the other two guys are just a figment of my imagination.
I think I saw that in a Bugs Bunny cartoon once.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually living that moment. So.
Listen, they don't call Mark Coleman the Hammer for no reason there, right?
Yes. And I guess he was playing that that song Hammer Time.
Yes, right. Well, that's an interesting because he was another. Hold on a second there, Beast. Mark Coleman was another wrestler similar to you there. So that's interesting that you, out of all of your opponents, it was another wrestler that really gave you the toughest challenge in the ring there.
Huh? But that was my comment. I said that going up against another grappler. I use the term grappler just because that could mean a judo practitioner, a jiu-jitsu practitioner, a wrestler probably more than anyone. There's even another match against a Canadian amateur wrestler by the name of David Benito.
Yep.
And he was he was on several national teams, stuff like that. I actually even wrestled Dave way earlier in our amateur wrestling careers when he was just a budding young guy, and I was well into being the senior statesman on the amateur wrestling scene.
Wow, yeah, and Dave Benito, he had a lot of fanfare in the beginning of his MMA career as well. That's a name that definitely stands out when you think back to the early to mid '90s.
He actually has a boxing background on top of that, and I kept thinking, wow, this could be really interesting because I can't give him range that he can throw hands because I always tell people, my hand abilities sucked. There's just no way it was ever going to match up because you got to realize I started one in 1969, the other one I started in 1994. The scale was never going to be balanced.
No.
And I only ever looked at it like I'll do one event. Okay, one event went well. Didn't take any damage of it, but still number two. Well, first year, fifth year, 10 years. Well, then 20 years later, it's kind of like, well, when I'm older than most of my opponents' fathers, it's time for me to exit stage right. Before one of these young bucks wrecks me into retirement, and now I'll be drooling down my chin sitting in a chair someplace.
Yeah, you don't want those problems. And listen, you brought it up, so I got to take you there. Last summer, we had former WWE superstar Al Snow here on the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, and it made huge news all over the world there. And Al takes credit for teaching Dan the Beast Severn how to throw a punch. So once and for all here, Dan, the MMA legend, you're in the UFC Hall of Fame here, and Al Snow's trying to take credit for at least part of your career. So tell the world, once and for all, did Al Snow teach you how to punch?
Okay, sure, I could say it just like that. Yes, Al Snow taught me how to strike. He did a horrible job because I So if I'm going to throw myself underneath the bus, I'm going to pull Al with me.
That's right, because you weren't known for your striking ability at all there, right?
No, not at all. It was probably more people probably thought it was stand-up comedy when I was trying to stand up.
Folks,
the thing was, working with Al. Al represented my very first ever no-holds-barred training camp. You have to realize, during that time there, 1994, there was only one cage, and it was owned by the Ultimate Fighting Championship Company. So, and there were no manuals, no DVDs, nothing that you go online like you can today. There's all kinds of stuff that you can just go online and learn how to do. Well, it was almost like this underground type of thing right there that was taking place. So I basically, when I found out I was finally going to be in my first one, I trained 5 days, an hour and a half a day. I made the 2.5 hour drive over to Lima, Ohio, each day, just really to work out for an hour and a half, because between Al and he had two other professional wrestling proteges, and they had one old pair of boxing gloves between them. So after one guy would get tired, the next guy would do it, then the next guy, it's funny after all, because I stayed in the entire time. Then they would be arguing with each other as to, it's your turn. No, it's your turn. And then like throwing the gloves at each other, because I never trained a single strike. I never trained a single legitimate submission. I stayed out of range with close distances, either clinch them, throw them down, take them down, using amateur wrestling techniques or modified amateur wrestling techniques, and would just make them scream or squawk with some type of amateur wrestling move that simply turned illegal, and that was good to go. And and then I entered my very first UFC.
Wow.
So I don't think you'll find another human being that can make that claim that, I trained 5 days, an hour and a half a day in a professional wrestling ring with 3 different professional wrestlers, and then got the results.
That's unbelievable.
I got it.
And let me ask you this: if you were to take a wild guess, what would you say your record is in mixed martial arts overall?
I'll say that whatever sure dog, full contact fighter. I mean, there are these different watchdogs out there because I never really paid attention to it. But they do have whatever that is. It's 100 and some odd.
Yeah, you've won over 100 matches, and they say you've lost less than 20, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, you could easily add probably. I would say conservatively, you could add another 15 to 25 matches to my credit because Sure Dog, Full Contact Fighter, and these other watchdog websites did not even come into fruition until 2, 3, 4 years after that when No Holds Barred broke.
Yep.
I had business, even in my UFC number 4, I couldn't get out of that cage. I had people came down and they surrounded the cage, and I had businessmen, pressing cards into my hand.
Wow.
Saying, give me a phone call for this, give me a phone call for that. And then there were these, we're going to have this big festival. They're like, okay, we're going to, they gave me a phone number, I should say, they gave me a pager. So again, a lot of your listeners don't even going to know what a pager is. A pager is a little electronic device that goes beep, 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 and it's a phone number that shows up on it. So they give me a pager, say when it goes off, call the number. So I call the number, and they'll say, there'll be a plane ticket waiting for such airport. You fly to a destination. You'll be picked up. You'll be taken yet to another destination. It'll be a big tent, party, food, drinks, and you will be the entertainment tonight as you fight another man.
Wow. I mean, literally underground stuff here. That's what we're talking about.
It's like Gladiator.
Yeah, literally. Or Fight Club. If you think about the movie Fight Club, it's definitely like that. Folks, we're talking to mixed martial arts legend and UFC Hall of Famer Dan the Beast Severn. Now, Beast, you actually you made it to the World Wrestling Federation, known as the WWE today. And it was interesting because you walked into that organization as the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion. So you were a guy who had a very strong pro wrestling background by the time you got into the WWE, let's just call it, to stay current here. What was it like working for Vince McMahon and being part of the spectacle on that high level there?
It was, in a nutshell, I'll say it's great to know that you made it to work for the number one company in the world, but at the same token, it's I was never utilized anywhere near my potential.
Wow.
There's, Jim Cornette has, he's done a number of interviews. Really, I'm really almost like he's been sticking up for me. That there's certain aspects of limitations that I have in the sense that I'm not that colorful guy that's going to cut all these crazy type of promos and stuff, because I'm the guy that actually knows physical mechanics, and now I'll take care of business on that scene. But it was, at the same token, I think it had a lot to do with the contract I had. I was the very first wrestler ever, and I think still am, to be non-exclusive. I could work for, because the NWA, I was working for the NWA first, and they wanted me to be exclusive, and I go, well, if I can pay me a set home. And they're like, well, no. I go, well, then I can't be exclusive. I go, if I have a open weekend or open date, and you guys are going to book me, I'm not going to stay exclusive to you guys. I'm going to move on. So at the same time, I'm working for the WWE. I'm working for the NWA, but I'm not exclusive to either one of them. I'm even working for the UFC. I'm not exclusive to them, and I'm just still in date after date after date. There'd be some months in the course of the month I would be on the road for maybe 20 some odd days out of a 31 or 32 day month.
Wow, that's amazing.
And there'd be sometimes I'd wake up in the morning and I'm looking around in the hotel room, and I'm like, Where am I at? Where am I at? And what is my function today? And I literally would have to look at my physical planner just to go, I'm a professional. It's like, I'll be doing a mixed martial arts seminar. I'm going to be doing a cage match. I mean, literally, there's the times when I'd be on the road for a couple weeks, knowing that I would fly back to an airport simply to change out luggage. grab out, okay, and I'd have 3 different suitcases packed because one's for professionals.
That's right.
One's for martial arts, and one's off for teaching. So I do a lot of stuff with first responders, law enforcement, corrections, things of that nature.
So let me ask you this. Did it ever turn real in the WWE? Did you ever get to the point where you either had to really beat somebody up or almost got to that point?
No, I've had a few people try to resist a little bit on some days, and that's when I just did a little bit more. I never had really, on one time, on the independent scene, someone really tried to test me, and they literally tried to shoot right in and then take my van off my feet right there, and literally, I actually did a legitimate power bomb to him.
Oh.
It was, as I tell people, it was the power bomb from hell, because as I was actually bringing him up, because the adrenaline kicked right into me, I released him, and his body was still ascending upwards, and I re-gripped, and I pulled him right down, and literally that's when the match ended on a power bomb. It wasn't supposed to. We were supposed to go on for several more minutes, but he did that. I just put the power bomb in, and the match was done, and the ref stopped the match.
Damn. So, see, this is why you don't mess around with Dan the Beast Severn.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. So let me ask you then, Beast. When we think, because you're a family man on top of all this, you're an MMA legend, pro wrestler, but 5 kids?
With 5 kids, yeah.
Do your kids?
My kids weren't my own. Literally, I tried my best to keep my family really naive to a lot of the things that I was doing. I mean, I was like a traveling salesman. I'd be gone, and I was going a lot. I missed a lot of birthdays. I missed a lot of anniversaries, and just because I'm on the road, even though I'd say I'm a phone call away. Well, a phone call away is still not being there when they've got, they're hurt or something like this. They're sick. They're not feeling good. So, I mean, I always say that I've been an absentee parent at best.
Wow.
And even right now, just speak to me. I'm out in a training facility. I got a class going on. I'm probably 60 yards from my house, and yet I'm out here. And, my kids kind of always knew that. I was like the Panther of the opera, because when they get up in the morning, they go off to school. By the time they get back, I'm usually running the class.
Wow.
By the time I'm done and would walk into the house, they're asleep. Even though a class might end at 9 o'clock, the thing is, it doesn't. You can't shut the doors at 9 o'clock, because you still got stragglers, or you've got young men that they have girlfriend problems, they got wife problems, they got financial problems. So you have to be a counselor of love. You have to be a counselor of economics. There's certain things I never bargained for when I wanted to have a training facility. But not anymore. It just comes with the territory.
So you've been traveling around different parts of the country today. Let's fast forward now to present day, and you're putting on training seminars and things of that nature. Talk to us about that. If there are folks who are interested in getting into one of your seminars and learning firsthand from Dan the Beast Severn, give us some information on that.
Well, I'll just say, simply just go to my website, at www.dansevern.com, and all my social medias are located on there, so there's some ways for them to contact me. And I started in the law enforcement sector of teaching in 1994, corrections in 95, and then just from there, just doing stuff with air marshals, border patrol, and military. And as far as I know, I'm still the only civilian on a couple of occasions to be brought to the world's largest private security company, a company called DXL that's located in Virginia. So because of my knowledge of physical mechanics, and the ironic part of all this is I've never been a cop, never been a corrections officer, not in the military, but my gift is physical mechanics. There's stuff that I can show that other people have never seen before, and it's kind of funny. Like for example, a submission graphic class. I could do a submission graphic class D or non-D. It doesn't matter. And I always get these folks, you will see stuff, either techniques or tactics, that you have never seen in your life. And you're going to learn a whole new concept of how to make life so miserable, so uncomfortable, that your opponent will want to, they'll either want to give up, or you're going to break them physically, you're going to break them mentally. That's my approach. I've got, again, I'm kind of elaborating more. I've got 6 guys that I'll be training here. They're actually getting warmed up right now. I'll stretch out and do some drills. When I finish up there on this interview, I'll be walking right in there and working with them for the next hour and a half.
Wow.
On techniques, tactics, and take it through. But I'll actually be doing the workout with them. I'll be rolling with them. I'll be doing some sparring sessions with them. And then I'm thinking, I'm probably at the age of their grandpas.
So you said just a minute ago techniques to make someone's life miserable. Now, how quickly could you teach me those techniques so I could use them on Duke and properly make his life miserable?
Give me a break.
Could you do that over the phone?
Well, no. Let's put it this way. I've had females hurt my feelings left and right on a lot of times. I don't know if we should be talking about that one.
Yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble there. Come on now. So wait, let's do a little rapid fire here, Beast, real quick here. I'm going to say a name, and you just tell us what's the first thing that comes to mind. All right?
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
You ready?
All right.
All right. Ken Shamrock.
Okay. The Sham.
The Sham.
The Sham. There you go. All right, Vince.
The Sham in the sense of, not following through, the sham, the short change, yes. I mean, those are just all the shim sham dance, as you're backing up. There you go.
Wow. Well, did you feel that he was just all fluff and no real substance?
There's the sad part about, you go back in time. We both have had a match, and we both have a victory. But at the same token, I should have never gone against him the very first time. Very first time, I mean, on top of being, I questioned, first off, when the match was being set up, I questioned UFC. I go, how is this a super fight? I go, the man has never won anything. I said, how could it? I can run a world of amateur wrestling where, I've been involved in super fights there, and those fights were super fights because it was amateur wrestling. I go, but these usually against people that won things. Yeah, at that point in time, the first match, he had never won anything. In fact, he hadn't even been a runner-up in anything. He had that steroided up physique that the UFC ownership wanted to push because, we want this guy looking like gladiators. They didn't want him looking like the Tank Apple going out there,
Wow.
But so that's why I say that, because I did do that match with him, even though, again, it doesn't sound like I'm giving excuses, but I was sick. And yet, and you think about how many times today, how many times do these cards do these guys back out in? For whatever reasons. And I'm thinking, I have never backed out of anything. And if you saw my amateur wrestling career, how many times I went out there with a taped hand or this, that, or with an injury, I mean, to me, backing out of the match was never an option. So I went through, and there was actually one. I have to go off this one last story. I've got a show back in New Jersey, an MMA show. And in the course of my warming up, something happened where literally my back gave out, and I went down like a ton of bricks. I mean, I had sweating bullets, and again, I'm within my warm-up preparation for my match. And, I had a couple guys that with me, and they helped pick me up, something like this. And they're looking at me like, well, what are you going to do? I said, you guys are going to help me get up. I said, I shall walk to the cage. I said, you guys will help me get up them steps. I said, as soon as the match starts, I'm just going to drop down to all fours because on all fours, I can no longer be kicked in the head. And I said, he'll get close because if he tries to kick me in the body or something like that, I'll just grab his leg, pull him down, and I'll finish him off there. The whole process there is, what I'm saying is that pulling out was not an option.
Wow.
Now, because one of the athletic commissioners saw what happened, he's the guy who pulled the plug on me. Otherwise, I was going full steam ahead just to do the match.
That's incredible.
I walked in lots of matches of my career with that. So I know I'm going off in different tangents, but, I legitimize Ken Shamrock with one match. Name anybody else that he really beat from that point on. Nobody.
Wow, hot take.
So again, I'm not trying to be mean.
No, you're telling it how it is.
I rub people's face in the truth.
Well, let's switch gears. Let's switch gears. I'll throw another name at you. Okay, this switches back to a little bit earlier on. Vince McMahon.
Oh, Vince McMahon. I can't give you just one word, but the phrase is, he will get away with whatever he thinks he can get away with.
I totally agree with you, my friend. I totally agree, and I love that take.
I was used really well in the beginning, and then when they realized they had no control mechanisms over me, that's when I would just say that the creative team started to throw me some crazy angles because the life of a professional. So you go from a good guy, the baby face, to the bad guy, the heel, and back and forth again. Mm-hmm. That's just the life of the professional. So I was basically known as kind of a baby face, just a no nonsense, didn't get no crazy promos. I wore the same outfit. I wore the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I just took care of business. Jim Cornette's my mouthpiece. Mm. And then all of a sudden they're pitching me ideas where they want to put 666 across my forehead, mark of the beast, and they want to make me an Undertaker disciple. And I'm like going, time out, guys, not going to happen. I live in small town USA. I don't want to have any repercussions against my family, no against my business, no against me. So,
and they didn't want to hear it, and there you go. And that seems typical of Vince McMahon, even back then, and even more so now, I think. But Duke has another name for you.
Dana White.
Okay, Dana White. Well, I did actually have one word for it, but I don't want to say it. Okay, he's the F-bomb king. Okay, the F-bomb king.
I'll believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, just because he says the F-bomb quite a bit. Even when I met him, first time I met him, he dropped a couple. I must have given him a pretty good, kind of a look there because he dropped the F-bomb there a few times, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I know, I say that word a lot, don't I? It even had on a painting up on his wall.
Jesus.
So again, I just the F-bomb team.
Wow. Well, hey, listen, that's some good rapid fire there. Beast, when we told our listeners that you were going to be on the show, it was amazing the response that we got. And I just want to give a shout out to a couple of key listeners here, like Shari Opal and even Double D Dave Davis. They want you to know, and many of the listeners want you to know that they love you, and they appreciate all that you've done, not only in mixed martial arts, but also in pro wrestling. You still are someone that folks speak very highly of, and they watch your old matches, through YouTube and what have you. So just wanted to point that out to you. Do you have anything that you want to say to all the listeners out there and all your fans?
Well, I'd like to say, to continue to watch, because maybe I may not be in the ring, or I should say in a cage, although I would still do a match with a Hoist Gracie, or I'd still do a match with a Ken Shamrock. But do I wish to go against these young bucks? No, I mean, that's the hardest part for the athlete is just to say move on with your life. But I would do a geriatrics match. It would never live up to the hype, but it is what it is. But I appreciate them for what the fans have done for me. I mean, just by just the cheer and stuff like that. They don't realize at the beginning of that match, because I had a certain MO of what I would do, the way I would raise my hands up into the air, and it was like, as I hear the crowd just kind of going crazy, it was like the biggest vitamin B12 shot I could have ever asked for. Wow. And a gunless shot, vitamin B12 shot, whatever they're called. But even though on the exterior I was probably cool as a cucumber, I tell you, I was pretty revved up on the inside.
Wow. Wow, that's good stuff. Hey, before I let you go, I'm sorry, I had one last one there. Your protege, Don the Predator Fry. Everyone's been asking about him as well. So we definitely got to have you come back. But can you make me a promise there, Beast? Will you let Don the Predator Fry know that we would love to have him as well on the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast, because so many folks want to hear from Don and hear him talk about his stellar career as well?
I thought they just wanted mustache grooming technique. usually almost every November, the interviews that come up, they're like, okay, who's got the better stash, you or Don Bryan? I always have to say, well, Don's is younger. It's much bigger and bolder than what my mustache is. I go, I said, but I go, at least I'm the originator.
Nice. That was good.
And actually, I don't know if you gentlemen know this, but actually Don was one of my wrestlers when I was coaching at Arizona State. He actually lived with a couple of my younger brothers. So I know Don on a much more personal basis, and I probably communicate with Don at least a couple of times a month.
All right. Well, we got to have you back on, and we definitely will have Don the Predator Fry on sometime in the not-too-distant future. Thank you very much, Dan the Beast Severn. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me there as well, Duke and the Boston Bad Boy.
Wow. Talk about a heck of an interview. And Dan the Beast Severn.
And talk about how much he loved my name and how great he gave us a great send-off there, and I was mentioned by name.
All right. Don't trip all over yourself there.
Sometimes I do.
Yourself on the back there. Yeah, he does like the Boston Bad Boy name.
Yeah,
so
who
what?
wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Is that what it is?
People love me.
Give me
First
a break.
of all, people love me.
Yeah.
They love my ideas. They love my theories. They love the facts that I bring to the show.
Oh.
I don't know. Not
Give me
so
a
much.
break. So we've had Peter Vesey, who's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
For the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And now Dan the Beast Severn, who is a UFC Hall of Famer.
And we've probably talked to some wrestlers who are headed to the Hall of Fame at some point.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Wow. We're your Hall of Fame show.
We've Susan Tex Green.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
She's a Hall of Famer, Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
So we have many different Hall of Fames represented here.
James Beard, he's in some of the Wrestling Hall of Fames as well.
We need someone from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think I could work on that, actually.
That is your mission.
I can't promise you anything, but I'll see what I can do.
Work on it.
Listen.
Do your job.
Here, everyone who's listening, remember who books shows. Sometimes I thought it was the Duke books the guests on the show. But as soon as I mention I can get a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame person, now all of a sudden I'm booking shows. Okay, we'll see how it is.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's take a quick break because coming up next, we got something real
I don't like
special.
this. Sweetie, I got something real special.
No, I got something special this time, pal.
Oh, look, you're finally bringing some content. This is nice.
Yeah.
Nice change of pace.
We'll be right back, folks.
This is former WWE superstar Al Snow and Magicians to the Blind. You're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin. Hello?
Old Man Wade.
Sir Duke the Great.
How are you, sir?
Let's take it easy with this great stuff. He's not that nice.
Listen, this man has invited me into his home. I've given his wife wine so she wouldn't beat me up. Okay,
this is just
we got a thing going on here. Ain't that right, old man?
You're damn right. I just want to point out that despite Duke's hatred for the Patriots, he also did gift me with a lovely and fabulous giant Patriot scarf that served me well this winter.
I gave him a Patriot scarf for his birthday, and it's huge and it's thick.
Yeah.
So he was able to protect his face and everything with this thing.
See, I gotta cover this beautiful face up, man. It's a moneymaker.
Well, it also goes to show that Duke can't have any friends that he doesn't bribe.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's all right. Listen, that is a fact of life.
So why do we have the Old Man Wade on the show today?
Well, we got Old Man Wade on here because Black Panther officially opens tonight.
I don't want to talk about Black Panther.
No, we got to talk about Black Panther.
No, I don't want to talk about Black
Panther. We
Panther.
must talk about the biggest movie probably of the year.
You want to know why I don't want to talk about Black Panther?
Yeah, because you've been
because
pretty excited.
My
Why?
girlfriend got 2 tickets to the advanced screening of Black Panther and is not taking me.
Are you sure she's your girlfriend?
Well, as I forget the comedian once says, I don't have a girlfriend. I just have someone who would get very mad if they heard me say that.
Wow. Well, there it is.
The great philosopher Chris Rock.
Yeah,
nice.
Right, exactly. There you
go.
go.
So hold on, wait. Before we got to talk about this here. And old man, you're a married man, so you can chime in
here. Yeah.
So wait a second. So your girlfriend got 2 advanced screening tickets to Black Panther, the biggest movie ever.
She goes, I know you're doing the show. You get the show to do.
Oh.
So I got tickets, and I go, well, if you knew I have the show to do, why'd you get the tickets?
Ooh.
Well, my friend wanted to go, and you don't even.
Her friend.
She says, a girlfriend of hers.
Oh yeah.
You don't even like Marvel movies, is what she said. And I said, it doesn't matter if I like Marvel movies or not. I've been talking about going to see this movie, right? I've already got my Popeyes #3 picked out. I'm ready to go. I got everything picked out that I'm going to wear.
You have your motif?
I have the motif.
Okay.
And now she's denying me that.
Old man Wade, you got to help us out here. How do you feel about the Boston Bad Boy's girlfriend taking her girlfriend instead of him to see Black Panther?
Let me tell you like this. I'm the comic book dork in the house. My wife gets into comic books like when I bring things up, and we also go to the movies together.
Sure.
But there are some shows, some movies that she doesn't mind me watching without her. I jokingly said to her I was going to see Black Panther without her. She said, well, that's grounds for divorce.
Well, exactly. I mean, here's the thing. I have a lot of nerdy interests as well. Usually it's not a problem. I've been one-upped now. I've been usurped is what's happened. I've been usurped, and I'm trying to support my brothers and my sisters, and this is what I get for trying.
See that? She's trying to hold you down.
Trying to keep me down.
See?
Isn't that just the way? It's unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
And I want to see this movie.
Yeah.
So I think, Duke, you should take me to see this movie.
What?
You owe me, first of all.
No.
You owe me. And I think Old Man Wade will agree with me that you owe me and that you should be my entree into the movie.
Just because your girlfriend doesn't want to deal with you, don't think I want to deal with you.
Well, I know for certain that your girlfriend doesn't want to go anywhere with you.
Well,
so I think that if you want to see the movie and not go alone like a creep,
hey,
you should invite me.
You know
It'd
what?
be the right thing to do.
When I go alone, I could eat my Popeyes alone. So
you're not having any of my Popeyes.
Yeah, get out of here. So, old man, you're on the show to talk about the movie, not to listen to the Boston Bad Boy cry about his girlfriend hanging out with her girlfriend instead of him. Tell us about Black Panther. What's the big deal here?
Well, the big deal with Black Panther is, well, first of all, let me get the misconception that Black Panther is the first black comic book character that's been on film.
Sure.
Blade actually came out probably over a decade before the Black Panther movie.
Yep.
What the big deal with the Black Panther movie is that this is the first black comic book character with such a big budget, with such a great cast. Forrest Whitaker, Angela Bassett, Michael B. Jordan, Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman, who should be praised for his roles in general with prominent and great black characters, from Jackie Robinson to James Brown, and recently he played Marshall, the Marshall movie, where he played the first black head chief of the Supreme Court.
Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall. Thank you. I had a bit of a brain fart. But because of that, and he's also a character who has immense wealth. He's the richest superhero in all of comic books, and he's not just some smart guy. He's genius level intellect. He's one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter in the Marvel universe. He's extremely educated, and on top of the educated, he has a plan for everything. So this is the first time we see not even just a black character, a character this well-versed in probably everything. There's nothing you can't go to Black Panther for that he won't have an answer.
Is he the greatest superhero of all time?
You got to categorize that, because unfortunately, as much as I like him, Superman may be the most important comic book character, because without his success, comic books wouldn't be where they are today.
Can I just make a quick aside there that I'll agree with you for Superman. For the business of comic books was good because it was popular, but Superman, in actuality, is the worst comic book character ever created.
Don't be derogatory. Be nice.
Superman is the least compelling
Stop it right now.
Character.
Stop it. Okay.
You know what? I hate to say this. I listen to the show, and I really hate to say this, but I have to agree with Mr. Pelosi right now.
All right. Listen.
Everybody loves a heel,
and
first
that's enough with Old Man Wade. We're done with him for the night.
No. We're going to listen to Old Man Wade all night because he agrees with me, and he's going to continue to agree with me.
That's not going to happen.
Nice.
But in terms of Black Panther being the greatest comic book character, I don't think he's the greatest comic book character. I think he's the most complete comic book character. Most comic book characters have a flaw. Like, if I had to pick the best, I would say Spider-Man. Spider-Man's always on duty, but he also doesn't have the immense wealth that like Batman may do. He may have superpowers, but he doesn't have he has super strength, but he's not the Hulk. Black Panther is complete. There is nothing that really holds him back other than himself. Some characters are hindered by not wanting to kill or not having the stomach to kill somebody. Black Panther has both. He doesn't like doing it, but he will. A lot of times he'll try to talk a problem out before he actually needs to get into action, because if he doesn't need to get physical, then why bother with things like that? He has a contingency plan for Galactus. For those who don't know, is the world eater. He literally eats planets, and he has a contingency plan for something as severe as that. Like I said, he has the fighting skills. He has the intelligence. So I would call him the complete comic book character. He's Bruce Wayne or Batman without the ego and with the a more ruthless Batman, but like I said, without the ego.
Well, in many comic book characters, take Batman for instance, the fact that Batman's a conflicted guy is what drives a lot of the drama in the story. So what? Again, I'm not super familiar with the comic book side of Black Panther. I mean, and any superhero really, because I was just a peripheral sort of fan growing up. But what is the driving drama then within the Black Panther as a comic, and how does that go into the movie now?
The drive of the Black Panther, I would have to say, would just be a lot of it has to do with the struggle that he deals with being a king. Mm-hmm. His father, the Black Panther title alone is not something that is like passed down from generation to generation. Once you become the Black Panther, in order to become the Black Panther, you have to fight for that title. Mm-hmm. And once you even gain the title, you have to make sure that you are worthy of the title every year. So a lot of conflict with Black Panther has to do with the nation of Wakanda, which is the most advanced civilization in the world, maybe even all the comic books. They've cured cancer, they've cured AIDS. They don't have a impoverished society. They've been more progressive, especially in the more recent comic books written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, where they have a couple of women who are in a relationship. They've always been, the Dora Milaje are a group of Black Panther's bodyguards. They're all women, like focusing on the fact that women are a strong species, for the lack of a better term. So I think a lot of the allure with the Black Panther has just been the way the country and the Black Panther itself has advanced. He connects with the Marvel Cinematic Universe because his father, T'Chaka, is killed, and he is now he's made king. So that's how he connects to that in general. With the Black Panther movie itself, it looks like it's going to be how he adapts to being king after being a prince for so long. Now he's in front of the world. The world knows what Wakanda is. They now know that it's not just a uncivilized or savage country. It's the most, like I said, technologically advanced country in the world.
Well, that's the interesting thing about it. And I was doing a little research, and this touches on a lot of things that, first of all, the Black Panther was created in 1966, right? So by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who created Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are the guys that created. So they create this comic, which then goes on. I think Black Panther appears in Fantastic Four originally, and then goes off on his own series. And it was always sort of this almost a side project of these progressive ideals, the woman warriors, and this sort of alternate history of Africa, where the world may think that and coinciding what was going on racially in America, the world may think that we're second-class citizens, but we have outsmarted you because we have hidden the most advanced civilization behind a hologram. So take that, and so there's this whole incredible alternate history that shows. It's sort of a way to show what the actual guess what? There are black scientists, there are black educators, there are entrepreneurs and industrialists and geniuses, but the world right now, even in 2018, is having a hard time coming to grips with that. Sure. Meanwhile, this comic book has been tackling that for a long time, sort of almost waiting for the moment to strike in a way.
Well, walk softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that's the best thing about it, though. So initially, the country of Wakanda has never been conquered. Mm-hmm. There's Reginald Hudlin wrote a series of the Black Panther, and this first series arc was called "Who is the Black Panther?" And the first thing they showed was countries trying to conquer it, and every time they wouldn't even get to the gate. So right. That's how advanced they were. So I think that's part of the allure of the Black Panther and Wakanda, because a lot of people don't know about it. And to bring back what you talked about with his first appearance being in 1967 in the Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm makes a reference saying, how does he said, T'Challa sends Reed Richards a flying car. And Ben Grimm is confused, like, how does a reject from Tarzan have the technology to do that? Because he was ignorant to the fact that what Wakanda was.
Right. So it's an interesting parallel comparing sort of, as a social commentary, the ignorance of what was going on in the civil rights movement with the ignorance of our superhero characters who have no idea this super technology exists. Like, you idiots have no idea what's going on, and we're doing our own thing over here, and now we're going to show you.
Well, Marvel has also been one of those, has been a comic book company that's always been very progressive. The X-Men were The poor, disenfranchised people of the world, they're hated and feared just for being born, just for looking different. Black Panther came out, and it was more like, hey, just so you know, there should be more black superheroes. Right. And granted, that it took almost 30-plus years for Black Panther to really get the praise he needs. He's been an Avenger. He's been looked at as one of the premier heroes, but that's among, like, the comic book lore and the mythos. But he's always been kind of a side player in terms of, like, comic book fans and people who know him. It wasn't until maybe the early 2000s that Black Panther really stepped out and became a big player. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with the writers. You don't necessarily need to be black to write a black character, but what you need to do is you need to have passion for this character. You need to you need to understand what this character means. Like, you take Luke Cage, who was a stereotype up until 2003 when Brian Michael Bendis started writing. Brian Michael Bendis is a white guy, but he's the reason that Luke Cage is as popular as he is now. He went from being just a stereotype who used to wear a metal headband and an open silk shirt and a chain around his belt as a belt, to being a character who actually has depth. He's not just talking jive turkey and stuff like that. He's actually become a character. Reginald Hoodlin took him, and while his arc may not have been the greatest, it was the first arc where people actually realized, oh, he is a great character. So when people started paying attention to him, Marvel goes, okay, since he's become popular, let's try to drop little hints to letting the audience know he will be there soon. They made references to Wakanda in Avengers Age of Ultron. They mentioned vibranium, a metal that can be found in the Great Mound of Wakanda. So this was kind of like...
Isn't Captain America's shield made of it?
Captain America's shield is made out of a mixture of vibranium and adamantium.
See, look at that. Look at that.
Right,
I knew a little something.
You nerds, listen.
I just can't believe Wade is still married after he sits at his house and rattles this stuff off. His wife hasn't walked out years ago. Yeah. Because, once we hang up, he's going to keep going. Although I have come to a decision now. You explained that in the beginning, in order to become the Black Panther, you don't just get it handed down to you. You've got to fight. I'm going to be the next Black Panther. I'm throwing the gauntlet down right now.
What? Because Dan to be Severn, you talk
I'm
to him,
talk
so
to
now
him. He's
going
to train me to grapple, and I'm going to fight my way to the top. That I will be the first white Black Panther, and I will bring all the people. They will love me in Wakanda.
You are so ridiculous.
It'll be great.
You are so ridiculous.
I love all people.
No.
I love all people. I'm tough. I will fight my way to the top. And Old Man Wade will then be talking about how many comic books are written about me and who the writers were.
We had a great conversation going with this guy, and you're going to talk that nonsense now. You're going to be a Black Panther? You?
Duke. First off, let me list the number of people Black Panther has defeated. Captain America, the X-Men in their totality, Luke Cage. We beat Luke Cage without his power.
You know what, though? He's naming fictional people. See, I'm a real person.
Yeah, who are you going to defeat?
And I'm not going to have any problems becoming...
No,
you know what? I'm working on it.
Oh, my
Stay
goodness.
tuned for more.
Listen, Old Man Wade, I feel embarrassed that this guy had the audacity to ruin what was otherwise a great conversation with you.
Look, man, I kind of prepped myself for this. I was like, all right, no, let me go into this. Let me let him talk his nonsense. I'll just let it happen.
Oh, wow. Just when I think you're a nice guy, you go and ruin it.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to go to the Black Panther by myself. I don't want Duke with me. I don't want Old Man Wade with me. I want to be left alone and enjoy the movie in peace.
You certainly aren't going to have your girlfriend with you because she's
we
already
know
busy.
that. And you know what? Maybe it'll be a good thing.
Wow. Old Man Wade, if anyone wants to get in touch with you or listen to you,
read
some of your stuff.
You are.
Yeah, what's the best way to get some Old Man Wade in their life?
Well, there's a couple of ways, actually. I am a paid writer. Excuse me, a paid, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a paid writer for Fansided. I write columns for Bam Smack Pow. So if you just Google Bam Smack Pow.
I don't know what you just said. All right? You're going to have to speak some kind of anything that resembles
jive turkey.
Yeah,
Gee,
exactly.
What the hell are you
talking
about?
Pig Latin? What is that? You're going to have to spell that.
M-B-O-P. Bam Smack Pow. Mark Lynch. If you Google that, you'll find my page where all my articles are. I write comic book articles. I actually did one recently comparing some the wrestlers to comic book characters and how they'd win the Royal Rumble. Wonder Woman ended up winning.
Oh, my God. Do you have, Old Man Wade, do you have kids?
Sweet Christmas, no.
Okay, so you do have lots of time on your hands, clearly.
Well, he has a cat.
No, well...
He does have a cat.
It doesn't surprise me a guy that writes fan fiction about who would win the Royal Rumble amongst the Fantastic Four and the Avengers owns a cat.
His cat would destroy you. His cat is the Black Panther, and his cat would destroy you.
Listen, as long as they keep paying me, I'll keep writing.
That's right.
Duke doesn't pay me at all, and I'm stuck here listening to two of you bozos.
But he thinks he's Black Panther. What else you got, old man Wade? If it's not for Bam, whatever you just said.
First off, Mike, he pays you with the knowledge of the Duke.
That's right. Tell him.
You can also find me on a podcast called The Old Man Wade Show with my co-host Super Woke Harvey, and we pretty much talk about everything from politics to wrestling. I have some of my friends come in and we talk about just all sorts of cultures. We talk about emotions. We talk about everything, man. We just go in there and we talk. Hey, both you guys could come on one day and shoot the stuff with us.
You don't want me to come on that show.
Yeah, you don't want him. It would be terrible.
I absolutely do.
Yeah. We'll make sure that your wife is there so she can keep him in line.
I just want you both to know that once I am crowned Prince of Wakanda and I'm the Black Panther, I won't forget you. Okay, I won't forget you guys.
Thank you. What will I get? Will I get a piece of the
No,
continent?
I'm gonna send my woman warrior guard after you. You're done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Old
very
man
much.
Wade, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Social media, old man Wade. Will Chris.
Mark A.W. Lynch on Twitter.
His name is Old Man Wade. He is our resident comic book expert. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Man, another solid guest there. We've been batting 1,000 tonight, Boston Bad Boy.
You know, we have been, and that's why I take such umbrage against you calling him the resident comic book expert when, if you listen back, I dropped some facts about comic books there.
Give me a break. You don't even know a tenth of what he knows.
You don't even, and you know what? You don't even want to give me any credit for anything. And that leads me to my next point, which is going to be...
Nope. I'm sorry, Boston Bad Boy. We've had too good of a show, and you're not going to ruin it. Take it away, Tony.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.
Thank you to Jan Ohrstrum of the Valhalla Club.
What the hell are you doing cutting me off?
Hey, Dan the Beast Severn, don't make me send him after you. He's a UFC Hall of Famer. Old Man Wade, the resident comic book expert.
Oh, come on.
Shout out to the Boston Bad Boy's girlfriend who's taking her girlfriend to see Black Panther. That's right.
You know what? You would kick a man when he's down.
I'm going to keep on kicking,
absolutely
Jack.
disgusting.
That's right.
You know what? There's no honor among
Shout out to Vince